Hey guys, Brock Shinen here. Today I'm going to talk to you about micropivots. Now, I want to make sure you understand this is not to be confused with micro stops, which we talked about in another video. If you subscribe to the channel, you search through the videos, you're going to find the video on micro stops, which is about goal setting and achieving goals. Today, we're talking about micro pivots. Now, the reason why this is important for you as an entrepreneur is because this is actually how you survive in business, by using micro pivots. Now, let me explain. When the pandemic first started, a lot of businesses felt either compelled to shut down, or they felt like the government told them they had to, or in some cases, actually a lot of cases, the business just simply seemed to have dried up, right? The customers just weren't there. So what happened is a lot of businesses, a lot of entrepreneurs just stopped doing business. There's different groups that responded different ways, but a lot of them just simply stopped doing business. Others kind of got out of their industry, what we may call macro pivots, or just massive pivots, right? They were, a lawyer who turned into an accountant or a CPA, and the CPA business dried up, so they, went back to lawyering or whatever. So those are kind of massive macro pivots. I want to talk about micro pivots. And I think the easiest way to understand this is actually to think about sailing. Now, personally, I've only sailed a couple times, never myself, I've been on sailboats, but I'm sure that most of us have seen how sailboats work, right? And a lot of times they look like they're zigzagging, right? And part of what happens with sailboats is they're adjusting to the wind, but they're also not going straight forward, right? And as they're moving towards a goal, you'll notice if you pay attention to a sailboat, that it's adjusting the sails, not just on the wind, but because it has to catch it, and it has to catch the currents the right way, and it has to sort of zigzag and pivot, all moving forward in the right direction. Now, in business, as entrepreneurs, we want to take advantage of this logic, this knowledge of micro pivoting by making very small adjustments in what we do to take into consideration the marketplace. Sometimes the customers aren't there because of something. Maybe it's a pandemic, maybe it's just customer spending, maybe it's the time of year. Certain types of spending habits and customer activities occur, around the holidays that don't occur in February, I'm thinking Valentine's. So you know what I mean, other parts of the year, right? So micro pivots take into account those minor adjustments that we need to make. Now, sometimes a minor adjustment means actually altering the products, right? So again, a pandemic example, a lot of apparel companies pivoted by going to masks, right? They're already set up for, cloth or whatever. The manufacturing process is already in place. The sales process is already in place, but they're not selling t-shirts. So what do? They just pivot quickly, and now they're making masks and they're doing well. That's just one example. But others were, there were food trucks that, were parking out front of the courthouse or parking out front of corporate buildings. And all of a sudden, there aren't lines there. But then some of those food trucks started pivoting and saying, hey, we're going to serve the first responder community. So they shifted more to hospitals or outside of fire departments, or they found out where it may make sense to serve first responders. So there's pivoting happening there. The reason why this is critical for you is because a lot of what we learned in 2020 is that pivoting became necessary to adjust to a pandemic. But what I don't think most entrepreneurs picked up is that pivoting is necessary all times, all throughout the year, no matter what's going on in the world. It's important to pivot because you're always adjusting to the nature of the business, the needs of the marketplace, the needs of your customers likes and dislikes, customer spending habits. And if we fail to take into consideration the micro pivots, those minor, moves, zigzags here and there, adjusting over there because of this habit, or adjusting over here because of a new tool that's available on social media or whatever. If we fail to take advantage of the micro pivots, we're going to end up going way off course and trying to course correct to get back on course, because the marketplace is always adjusting, always adjusting. So we have to learn to adjust at the speed of the actual change in the marketplace. These are your micro pivots. So We work with a lot of clients where we're helping them sort of identify micro pivot areas, identify opportunities where they can micro pivot, that sort of thing, but also to create micro pivots that will change the nature of their business, not in response to customers, but sometimes to get ahead of the curve and to bring their customers with them into a new experience. So your takeaways here are to start thinking more in terms of ongoing changes, tinkering in your business model, tinkering in how you can adjust this piece or that piece, a sales process, a pitch, your checkout process, reducing friction, all of those things we just said that we could talk about, and there's dozens and dozens, probably hundreds. They're micro pivot areas, and they're essential to you being successful as an entrepreneur. So there you have it. Now, if you found this video helpful in any way, subscribe if you're not subscribed, share it with your friends. That'd be really helpful. But I hope that you will continue to press forward as an entrepreneur. Give it all you can, because this is like the ultimate freedom area, right? To own your own thing. So keep going. It's hard, but it's so rewarding. Go after it. Thanks again.